Teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, and all of the world, supreme God of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror, Muni, are prostrate and all things and go for refuge. Guru, teacher of Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, and all of the world, supreme God of beings to be subdued. Teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate and make offerings and go for refuge. Guru, teacher of Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, and knower of the world, supreme God of beings to be subdued, teacher of gods and humans, to you, Buddha Bhagavan, glorious conqueror, Shakyamuni, I prostrate and make offerings and go for refuge. When, supreme amongst humans, you are born in this earth, you paced out 7 strides when said, I am supreme in this world, to you who are wise men, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the blue world, winner of the best, savior to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you are prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path of sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated can also show the path of liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, or devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community attaining virtue I prostrate. Do not commit any unwholesome actions, engage in perfect wholesome actions. Subdue one's own mind, this is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a reflected view, a butterland flame, an illusion, a drop of dew, a water bubble, a dream, lightning, a cloud, see all causative phenomena like this. By these merits may transmigratory beings attain the state of all seeing, subdue the enemy that falls, and be free from the ocean of samsara, disturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. The indescribable, inconceivable, and inexpressible perfection of wisdom, unproduced, unceasing, the nature of space, object of unique, knowing, transcendental wisdom, to the mother of the victorious ones for 3 times I prostrate. I prostrate to the 3 noble rare sublime ones. Thus did I hear at one time, the Bhagavan was dwelling on Nasabota's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Bhagavan was absorbed in the concentration on categories of phenomena called profound perception. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvaram looked upon the very practice of profound perfection of wisdom, and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, with the power of Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvaram. How should any son of the lineage tree who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom? He said that, and the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvaram said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon like this correctly and repeatedly behold. Those 5 aggregates also are empty of nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not form. Form is also not empty. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, accomplishment, practice, and consciousness are also empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no odor, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana.
All the Buddhas who dwell in 3 times also manifestly completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment and reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Ayata Gate Gate Pada Gate Pada Samgate Bodhisattva. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Bhagavan rose in that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Gita, Shvara, saying, well said, son of Ganesh. It is like that. It is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Bhagavan, having thus spoken, the Venerable Shara Bodhiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Arya, Avalokiteshvara, and those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Bhagavan. I and all sentient beings take refuge in the Buddha, take refuge in the Dharma, take refuge in the Sangha. We prostrate to the great Mother Prajnaparamita, surrounded by her children, the assemblies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 10 directions. In dependence on my prostrations to all of you, may these words of truth be actualized. In the past, the Deva King Indra dispelled the evil Maras by reflecting on the profound meaning of the wisdom Gambhira and reciting the profound words in daily recitation. In the same way, I also reflect on the profound meaning of the great Mother Prajnaparamita and recite the profound words in daily recitation. In dependence on that, may all diseases, spirit possessions, bad conditions, and opposing forces which happen due to past karma and immediate conditions be dispelled and become from the holy supreme realm of Keshara, you possess powers of clairvoyance and magical emanation. Look after practitioners like a love looks after her children. To the host of the Akinis of the 3 abodes, I prostrate Akasamanas. By the teachings of the 3 noble rare sublime ones possessing the power of truth, may hindrances be averted. All enemies and negative forces opposed to Dharma, Shanti is so. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be free from harmful conditions to Dharma. May all existences be in accord with the Dharma, and may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here right now.
Lama Rinpoche, da ye ning garbe me den shun na ga zhen xin bian guo ne chi sun de gu zong du yi wu zhu zhe lu. Okay, tashi delay everyone. Hello. So I hope everyone is doing well. So I came to Meghalganj. So today is holy. So all the out there Indians are having lots of fun. Lots of colors. Here is having fun. Somewhere there is having a war. But our world is having lots of ups and downs. And then now in within us, today we are like a family here. So within us, also we have even how much big smile you put on your face, deep inside, we have always a suffering down there. Maybe some of us maybe not realizing. Maybe unless our suffering, we only recognize suffering, definition of suffering as a manifest. When there's a pain, if there's a situation already happened, then we say it's a suffering. When it's beginning, like a fire, when there is a fire, then we say there is a problem. But we put lots of big hay, and then there is a little bit of fire nearby, and we don't see some problem. But the wise man will always say, the problem has started, even it has not manifested as a problem. So now, as one of my friend and a close friend, his name is, he's a great scholar, Alex Brezen, and he will always when he give a teaching, and then he will always say, please bring the full awareness why you are here today. So it sounds very good, actually. Why we all are here. Sometimes to see them make an announcement, we just feel like we all should go. So so it's more like we are here for a purpose. Thank you. Thank you. So then now for today's occasion, I believe most of you have attended as well as the Lama's teaching this morning. Very short teaching, but everything in there. Because how much you explained, but experience is something. With the experience, you say like one word, but without experience, you tell 1,000 words. It's two different things. But now His Holiness put a very simple. Maybe you haven't seen a miracle, but I felt a miracle. Today is the days of miracle, right? How do you say it? Days of miracle?
The days of the miracle.
Yeah, days of days. Fix my English, please. That's your job. So His Holiness said, from a young age up to now in 90s, for one individual, all the problems that one could bear, I had that from a young age until now. But due to my practice, I always maintain a very coolness, calm. So the practice is very simple, which is the bodhicitta and the emptiness. That's how he put it. And then he always emphasized that to us. Sometimes we don't get it. So, for an example, today is one big holiday for the for Buddhist communities, because we have like a 4 major holidays in Tibetan Buddhism. Today is one, Days of Miracle. Then what is other? Sagadava, Visakha. Visakha is the day Buddha is born and Buddha got fully enlightenment, and then Buddha going into Nirvana, passing into Nirvana. Visakha. So then the 4th one is turning of the wheel. Turning of the Dharma wheel. Yeah. It's 3, right? 3. Then we have descending from heaven. Yeah. Descent from Tushita to heaven. Not this Tushita, I guess it is. Could be. Okay. So days of miracle, very precious. But I don't know the very detail of the history, but I read somewhere and they listened to some of the researchers. Day of the miracle is where Buddha has to have a competition with his opponents, the non-Buddhist scholars, magical powers. Buddha always, when they are ready, Buddha always delayed and then they get so upset. That's a very nice teaching, actually. And then they are so ready, energetic, and then Buddha always delayed. So then the Buddha, when the timing, this is the one thing that you need to keep in your mind. When the right timing has ripened, ripened, then he said, now I'm ready. And then he made the magical powers far much better than the others. And then, because it's the right timing, right after the magical, the power competition, they don't bring a hatred towards Buddha, but they felt like, you are such an incredible person. So please take me as your student. That's it. Normally, competitions like Liverpool and Man City, always a problem there.
Not always.
Always there's a problem. So it's not like you did very well, we want to practice like you. Not that. It's not like that. So that is the pure sign of when the timing is right. So instead of having an anger and hatred, Buddha knows when to do this, and then when the time is right, he shows these powers so that he can tame their mind. Not to show some kind of like from nowhere bringing a pigeon out from the space. Not like that. But to be honest, miracle is a big thing. Many of us, I think, from including myself, I have no idea what is miracle. If I bring just an apple in my hand like this, without any causes, without a tree, without any planting, watering, I bring an apple, then we might say, wow, miracle. So that's why Buddha delayed to answer that. So I checked on the because our reliable source, this AI thing, we call him the omniscient one. The omniscient one, I checked what the definition of what is a miracle. So it says something very funny, something to debate with. It is saying a miracle is an extraordinary event that is not, I don't know how to say that, expectable.
Expectable.
What's that?
Expectable?
Not pactable. EXPLICA.
Explicable. Yeah.
What?
Explicable.
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 I sent you this on your WhatsApp. Yeah. By laws, and it is often attributed to a supernatural or a divine power. That's how it is described. And the better, because the root of the origin of the word miracle comes from Latin. So it says the Latin word for miracle is miraculum. Okay, so which means that's better to wonder at. That's better to wonder at. If you something get to wonder at, that's a miracle. don't put like something superpower. Then we will go to the scene of the Avengers movies, Thor and all this. So something to wonder at. Then it becomes very, very powerful. If the wonder is if something power comes like I put an apple like from nowhere, an apple in my hand. What you really wonder at is, where did you bring that? That's the biggest question. Where is the cause? Where is this tree? It is not natural. That apple could be artificial. Right? So all this curiosity to wonder at, that is something we need to keep in our mind. So now I will say this in Tibetan because it will be easier for me. 제가 말한 저기 아니 저기 취업 간대지니 규제를 되니 시에 집계지 시기요래 넘버 3개백이 제가 규단 깨를 때니 와충비 아니 뒤지기 쉬지 자원이 요 말에 상제 좀 된 되겠다 취 자와직들이
So when we would make these explanations in the kind of context of the Buddhist way of explaining things, then we say that whatever sort of conditioned phenomena arise, they always have to arise on the basis of their causes and conditions, and that there isn't anything which is a conditioned or a sort of impermanent or conditioned phenomena which does not there's nothing which does not arise from causes and conditions. It must arise from causes and conditions.
Penang around miracle chikareslavin penang around sugudi chashabina sugudi ta sheri deji 풍부디 간이 레벨에서도 남상 랭잡토에 가르서는 만일 된 중에서 다 이나양 shiri deji 풍부자 많이 봐 삼로 당당당 곰시당 아니 망고 진간 졸이야 아니 지기 체마 twins 임베 이나양 디버룰이야 제바 친구 통대지 바이올로지컬 친구 멤버진 가지고 셰토예지 디 간의 용벌이 세도점be 아니 곰시다 멘탈 때는 용벌이 세 되게 규통아마치 용아마치 야버도 그게 왜 선로지 다 산이 좀 되게 최근 인문한테 쓴 거로 봐.
So the Buddha sort of presented a kind of essence of in the when he was teaching the Dharma. Sort of if we look in the context of things that are if we just take our kind of physical body, our physical form, and then we sort of look into where did that come from? What were the causes and conditions for that? And this body of flesh and blood, then a kind of immediate answer that we may give is that it comes from our parents. But then we also see these cases of biological twins and how and people in general, how they have their many different ways of thinking, they have many different kinds of habits, and even but it's something like biological twins, where they're born with a very similar, extremely close kind of physical makeup. Still, there can be a great difference in the way they think, the way the habits they have, and so then we sort of have to look sort of deeper into what would be the cause. That there has to be a prior cause for that, and then this is the way that sort of Buddha is explaining the essence through looking deeper into these questions.
다 디데 인도zambe 말한저 다 계속 막 밥사 될래 온도zambe 아주 남시간 레벨 거래 남시디기 규등 아마디 아니 가려 요래서도 남시 아마디기 규들라 남 예버도 남시지고 요르마도 속이 남시긴 열레체지 자원이는 용투 maybe sort of June, they do, and it Namshiki Jundu, Cinema Yum do. Ah, around the Gitawalia day, and countries Chikiwaling do, Silata miracle, one Tanedi, around the Jawa countries Lembre say, miracle that did say to which could.
And so, if we, so that we're talking before on the physical sort of aspect, but then if we think, but the point that it really, these kind of investigations come down to is really that then this comes into relation to our sort of consciousness, our being conscious, our conscious mind, and then looking for what would be a concordant condition for which that our minds would arise. And then we follow that back, a series of concordant conditions, but always that sort of primary cause, the substantial cause of that of consciousness, will always have to be another consciousness. So we follow this back towards to the beginning of this life, and then there we start to think, well, how did we come about? How did we come about? How did our conscious mind and our life begin? And this then could be starting to look into what is this miracle that of how we came to be born.
Especially way of researching how I am born. Not only like that. That is sometimes we don't want to find this. It's like, well, I'm born, I don't care. But most important to research about the rebirth is when you feel that your mind is so diluted, and it not only diluted, but it has a great contribution towards the suffering. So then automatically the question is, this rebirth of the suffering, where did it start from? That is only asked by practitioners. This is asked by extraordinary practitioners, which we have never asked in our life. So why Buddha becomes so famous in the 20th century, 21st century, and Buddha century, what's it?
It's the 6th century BC.
Yeah,
6th century BC.
But that from that period of time until now, why Buddha is respected so much is only that reason. The reason he made clear that the source of all our problem is we have taken a kind of mistaken rebirth. Mistaken. We went into the wrong guest house. Put it like that way. Okay. So let's make it simple. If the hotel is already corrupted and manners and everything, and you go there without not knowing, that's called ignorance mind. You're going there, and then you always complain. That's on you. So Buddha is always telling us, I always make this sometimes little bit graphic, it stays much more fresh with your memory, right? So I always say, we say samsara. Samsara, you cannot, how much happiness you bring in a samsara, but somehow there will be always a problem. So it's very temporarily, and you will always get under the sway of negative emotion. Always will be there. So my example for that to the students, I say, how much how much you wash and clean your toilet. It will be a toilet. Whether it's a Switzerland toilet, Indian toilet, how much you clean it, it's a toilet. So what do you expect from that? Similarly, sorry for the, that's a miracle. So that's why Buddha saying, stop complaining. You are part of it. So if you don't want to part of it, get out from there. That's a very clear message. And relatively difficult. I put relatively. I didn't say difficult. We need to put this habit. When we say difficult, then we have this kind of a habit. Don't want to try, don't want to research about it, just the laziness comes on. But when you say it's relatively difficult, means if you get the right antidote, if you have seen, if you can feel the right antidote for that, then how much you feel like I have a problem, then there is a solution. Then the great Shantideva said, if there is no solution for the problem, then karsa, karsa.
If there's something to do about a situation, why worry about it? If there's nothing to do about it, why worry about it?
So that this comes to the point. So so if you do a research, I'm not saying in order to research like this, we need to become Buddhist. I'm not saying that. This is our right. In order to look into our mind and get out from the suffering, it's our right. There's nothing religious there. Right? So for this reason, I think most of us, when we start practicing, researching Buddhism or so on, many of us don't do the research on this. They research something else. Something else like tantric. Okay? Like in tantric, it talks about all the leishi
Activities.
Four activities. Tapo, Wang, Yeva, and Shiva.
The activities of pacification, the kind of extensive activities, the powerful activities, and the kind of fierce activities. So the four activities.
All this. And then, to be honest, because we are a part of family, so many of in the West, tantric is something to do with the sexual thing. Nothing about the teaching of Buddha, which is very sad. So now Buddha didn't say something like that. If you look at all his collected works, you can hardly find anything like that. So it is now, because you guys are here, and now it is a very important to keep in your mind what is the core and the essence of the Buddha's teaching. Up to now, maybe you have heard so many things about Buddhism, but now the real Buddhism, where it starts, where it ends, you really need to know this. So that's why Days of Miracle is very respected because of one of the Buddha's activity. But the precious, we call holiday. The holiday is very nice word actually. I love it. The 4 major holidays. But in Tibetan, we don't say like holiday. It's more like anniversary, festival. But the holidays, like we like holidays. So today is expected like the great holiday. So one of the most important out of these 4 holidays is the turning the Dharma wheel. Where Buddha got fully enlightened in Bodh Gaya, and then he went to Saranath and he gave us the first teaching, 4 Noble Truths. That's it. At that moment, we realized who the Buddha is and was. So in order to know Buddhism, you need to start with 4 Noble Truths. 4 Noble Truths, it's so cool because it started with first you need to know about the first truth, which is suffering. As I began my talk today, that when I said in this today's title is called, do you know anything about a miracle?
What do you know about miracles?
Oh,
yeah.
So, so actually, in order to understand all the miracles, most important miracles Buddha has taught, shown, you really need to understand about this suffering. So in the suffering, there Buddha put like in 3 categories, 3 steps to understand. The first one is suffering of suffering, which is we don't need much of explanation. It's so manifest. What we always see problem, what we are complaining about. This is all suffering. But a little bit hard to accept, but still we know it's a problem. It's a change of suffering of change.
Suffering of change.
Change of suffering or suffering?
A suffering of change.
Suffering of change. That most of us struggle there. It's more like you bought a expensive house, which most of us want. And then after that, we feel the maintenance, all these leakage problems, all this renovation, all this cost extra thing. And then one day you say, I had enough of it. Now I need a smaller house. Where did it start? It started when you had a dream of having a nice house, big house, expensive house. This is where it started. Okay? That most of the religions talk about it. The uniqueness of the teaching of Buddhism now starts the 3rd one, which is the pervasive perception.
Yeah, all pervasive conditioned suffering.
All pervasive
conditions suffering.
Maybe many of you, it's new for you. And now this is where you need to research about Buddhism. When you come to realize this one is the root of the problem, root of the suffering, and then the way you find the antidote, that's where the miracle starts. So Buddha, when he gave teachings to his students, no more miracles. Not he will just bring pigeons and apples and rabbits in front of you on his table, but he starts with the 4 Noble Truths. And then especially, he says, all of my teaching, what I open my mouth, why I bring, why I become enlightened, is to seize the rebirth. That rebirth is directly, we need to understand the third suffering, all pervasive conditioned suffering. Now you are curious, well, why he's not explaining on that, why he's saying so much, and it's so let's put like this way. 제자가 아란조 동해망보지 타리아 직nen디나로 동해망보지 타리아라 딘데지 디 멤버지 딘데지 중나 아니 딜레 하바 딘데지 중나 딜레 하바를 딘데지 중베이나 깨와 딜레 대야지 아니 직 벤조이네 딜레 대야지 중베이나 아마저 간에 상마 셀기리 세가 상로지 아주리 요레스 디 인도점베 아란조 직nen디나로 대화철당다 대화철당디 직den디 랑자 대제디나로 대화 처리하기 탑시 직den디나로 대 아니 디네 대화 처리하기 탑시 이 시리즈에 단지 얘기 콘솔이야 example 치테이바 어디 example 디당 solidity example 디당 찍고 잡고 yes 이 시리즈에 all pervasive conditions suffering 슬랍디즈에 이거 간대지네 미래리나 사는 간대지 단답백간이 가야면 슬랍이나야 랑자간이 디가나리 주 용고해지 개와질란 사비 슈라 살리 개와네 가리 개와는 개와게요 말이스 동해 라야 게레스
And so the way that we tend to sort of measure or sort of evaluate our happiness, how we're going to find our happiness, is we tend to think about, oh, if I could be sort of free from or liberated from this particular kind of suffering, or and then sort of, oh, and then another level of suffering and another level of suffering like that, or in the opposite way, to think in terms of if I could have this kind of happiness, but then there's a happiness beyond that kind of happiness and another happiness beyond that. So in either way, the way that we think about this and the way that we kind of measure our happiness is always finds its way into in relation to this life. So however whatever we come up with, whether it always is related to finding our happiness, being free from suffering in related to this life, or having kinds of happiness related to this life. But actually, the way that it's presented, and this it sort of correlates with the example that I gave in relation to the toilet, is that because of this presentation of all-pervasive conditioned suffering, then whichever kind of birth we take within that context, which is still characterized by pervasive conditioned suffering, then whether we take rebirth as a god or a human or any of the different realms that we could be born into, then those lives after birth into any of those kinds of life, then we will always that life will always be characterized. We will always characterized by pervasive conditioned suffering. There will always be some form of suffering, in the same way that I gave the example of the toilet, and that however clean it is, it's always a toilet. So this is how to understand all pervasive conditioned suffering.
So not only thinking about the rebirths and rebirth is difficult. Of course, some of you new to the rebirth thing is very new for you. But even though I am considered as a reincarnation, sometimes it is difficult for me to believe in reincarnation. Yeah. So, my dark secret, huh? Uh, so, uh, sometimes I don't feel it's necessary to think about past and future life, but sometimes, some of the teachings, especially this, what Buddha's teaching on uh, the, as His Holiness now has given the vow this morning, Bodhicitta vow, and he said, Bodhicitta with the wisdom, with the emptiness, what he mentioned, that emptiness is something that we really need to look into. Because I call sometimes the emptiness or the voidness, many translations are there, but in a Tibetan we call Tongpanyi. So this method, it is so powerful because only that can give you to, in a difficult situation, when you are so fixed, you are so focused, when your mind becomes so narrow-minded, and then somebody gives you thousands of advice not to do, not think like that, your mind is so stubborn. But having some understanding of emptiness or the voidness, it gives you a moment to change, look from different angle. Your friends are looking at it from different angle in the situation. You are looking at from your point of view, which is like so big. It's like an elephant. And then he opens the eye and he says, and in front of his eye, very near, close, he sees it's a large one. Actually, it's not. Reality is not like that. So, like this, whenever we have something to cry, something to yell, something to fight, where we are so obsessed, so clinged, and to lessen these kind of feelings, right? Loosen this feeling. I think only emptiness comes in there to help. It's really funny because when I received the teaching from His Holiness the Lama and also some of my teachers, and so as we read the Heart Sutra, the beginning here, actually we really don't know who we are actually, to be honest. And you really don't know who that is. But we just go through like, yeah, I know who I am. I have my passport. I have this citizen, this passport, it represents me. Like the worldly, we just go through like one flow, and then this becomes our identity. So Buddha in the Heart Sutra, it is talking about your passport, your identity. It's just saying, come on, you 5 aggregates. You have 5 aggregates. From the none of the one proves that is you. You can say my mind is me, my feeling is me. So who are you? That was the biggest question. Why he is asking this question? Not to irritate us. This is some antidote for the person who really wants to lessen the grasping. For that particular person, it becomes the antidote. So once you have that, then it is such a great news. But if you don't want to get out from this grasping, and then you read or listen Heart Sutra, it will make you uncomfortable. But if you really you believe yourself that you have this narrow-minded, so much kind of a clinging that you really need to change from deep inside. Here we go, the Heart Sutra. I call kind of Bible of Buddhist. We don't call Bible, but it's kind of. So that's why His Holiness Dalai Lama mentioned this morning, thinking of bodhicitta and emptiness. Whenever you are sad, it boosts up your energy. It has this ability. When you are feeling like a little bit too much energy, and then it cools you down, it levels you down. So, and if there is a one day that you could really tell your friends, family, 20 years ago, I'm short-tempered, jealousy, hatred. It took such a long time for me to accept I have this kind of feeling. But now, due to this antidote, it kind of changed me. That's the days of miracle. And you can walk into any kind of situation. You can go to everywhere, anywhere. And we can call this as a superpower. But none of the Hollywood movies are saying this is the superpower. Even only His Holiness Dalai Lama says, I have this power, I have this power, I got this. It took a quite time, 60, 70 years. Yes, I finally got it. Nobody is buying that. So His Holiness gave this to us this morning, to be honest. I wonder how many of us appreciate that. If you haven't appreciated that, it's a very clear sign that we didn't find this antidote because we don't felt we need this. Because we haven't felt we have this kind of a suffering, that kind of problem. And this is the antidote for this problem. So this is what I thought. So as a Buddha himself said, how to find Dharma is same as how to get the medicine. How to appreciate the medicine is unless you don't feel I have this disease, why to walk into the expensive hospital? And why to spend so much money in the hospital? But once you feel this, I have this is so urgent, I really wanted to get out from that, then how much money is cost? And how much you have to earn and wait, you will do it. Similarly, this is how you have to find the Dharma. And in a simple way, one of the great, the lineage of the Dalai Lama, I think the fourth Dalai Lama was asked by his attendants or his sponsors, what is your favorite food? Then he said, empty stomach. When I have a craving, that's my best food. But he didn't say pasta. That's really, really a good answer. So similarly, the best medicine, best teaching, unless you don't earn, you eat it, it's like you cannot digest. You cannot digest how you are going to enjoy the food. So this is I wanted to share with you all today. Scientists said through the research, human brain is built to listen only for 1 hour. That's an excuse, huh? Yeah. So so miracle for me, miracle is not a person who can fly in front of me and do so many magical powers. Because one of my teachers, Genja Zola, when he gave a teaching one day, he said, he's quite aged, and he said, I time to time get sick. My physical condition not very strong. Wish I have physical body like you young, energetic. I wish I have your body, but not your effort. It is understood, not your effort. Yeah, my effort, I'm very satisfied with that. And then he said, well, with this effort, sometimes Genla, my teacher, he opens up so with true compassion. He opens up. He does not know what he's saying actually. He just said, well, in this lab, if I put lots of effort, oh, these magical powers just going under the ground, flying. I have certainty that I can do in this life. Then he folded his hand and said, may I never get this kind of miracles, powers, unless I don't get a bodhicitta, compassion. And then he cried a bit. That was very powerful. So we always say, nuclear button in the wrong hands. Same thing.
Nuclear button.
Nuclear.
Yeah, you have the nuclear button in the wrong hands.
Similar. So, time to time, if you really want to enjoy the ordinary, then buy a ticket and go to cinema and enjoy the miracles there, full of delusion. But for your own, you really need to see what really kind of miracle you want. So that if one day all the problems are surrounded to around you, but you are like a mountain. The water flows, but the mountain stays. This kind of power you have. This is what we need in this current crazy world we are living in. Like Shantideva said, sometimes it's a very stupid way to think to fix all world's problem. But it's better to make a nice shoes and then walk on the
thorny ground.
The thorny ground. So very practical. So please keep this in your mind and ask yourself, what kind of miracles do you really want to see in your life? A pigeon from a pocket, or to tame your mind that one day that you can bring, you are the source of the happiness of your family. This can happen. this can really happen. I have witnessed a lot within my students, within my friends. I've seen this. Oh, I tell you one story of my friend. A friend, uh, we are very close. He's not really into Dharma. And then we always talk. And then he was very excited because he's getting married. And then after 2-3 years, he didn't message me and to keep touch because he's so excited, so occupied. And after 2 years later, he just gives a call and said, "Okay, I'm going through a rough time," and then lots of complaints. So then we talk, and then I say, "Why don't you come to Dharamsala and receive teachings from His Holiness? Maybe you will really get some kind of a piece of advice that can really change you." And he said, I will really wanted to give a try. So he came and listened to His Holiness teaching several times. And then every kind of evening we discuss about it. And the one gifted thing is he will never accept like this. I say something, he will say, no, this couldn't happen. I don't believe you. Okay, let me think. So he goes back and his analytical meditation very strong. So it passed like almost like 2-3 years. He kept coming for teachings and he went back. Then one time, after quite a long time, we met, and then I teased him, "How's your married life?" And he said proudly, "It's easy now, much easier than before. But to be honest, my wife is still same." But he believes he's totally changed. He has this. He had this gained the superpower. He found this miracle to be how to cool himself down and not listen to his own ignorance. So now the good news is recently his wife is getting changed. He's very happy. It's such a long time. So this is what I call precious human life. The differences between the creatures out there and people like with the brain, intelligence, differences. Otherwise, also the species out there, they're very brilliant. You can see in all these documentaries, they have all these gifts. Sometimes we are kind of stupid. Like I have a dog. She knows how to, if she's not feeling well, she goes out and eats some kind of leaf, that particular leaves which has a little bit of kind of a sorry, zubu, some itchy.
Oh, yes, for itchy, yeah.
She eats that and then she throws it out.
Yeah.
So she's brilliant. She knows that now staying like this, I will get sick. So she incredible. So the human, like people like us, what is gifted? It's not to just to, to make a huge buildings and or going into the Mars, or going into moon. That's okay, but it's not like incredible. I don't call it. But the most incredible thing is to tame your mind and then adjust between your partners and then understanding. We don't normally say this. Understanding is the key of the happiness of the family. We say that. But then we don't expand on that. We don't do any kind of a learning and practice on that. So please put your effort there. And this is what I wanted to mention. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. So maybe we take a question, maybe some okay, there's one question here. Okay, that.
How did you figure out your reincarnation? And also, how do you in your past life think about that you decided not to be in one?
Oh, you are very clever. There is like a question, like 3 questions in one line. To be honest, His Holiness found that we have this candidates, the boys from around my birthplace. So His Holiness found that I will be the most suitable the candidate for my predecessor's reincarnation. So this is how I got elected. So kind of then and now for my personal life, if you could say, do you really feel you are the true reincarnation of your predecessor or not? Then I will be very honest with you. And for that, I'm not going to answer in the public. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. For my own feeling, I don't have this feeling. Like there's nothing much because it passed it fast now. So what I'm so fortunate to have this opportunity. You asking me this question, and I'm trying to be honest with you. And I'm surrounded by these all beautiful people, this audience. And Tushita invited me. If I'm not the reincarnation of Serkong Rinpoche, little difficult. Yeah. Oh yeah. There is much more educated, better practitioner out there. They are not getting this opportunity. Why I'm getting this opportunity? Because due to the kindness of His Holiness, that for sure. And then I have some kind of a connection with my past life. So that's why I feel so fortunate. That's my answer. That's your question. What was the other one? You have something else. Oh, disrobing. Oh, okay. That's through the so-called attachment. Because my mind is not tamed well. So I decided, well, I appreciate monk's life, but I want another happiness, another
form of happiness.
Which I just wanted to go deeply into the samsara once again. So here I am. Okay. 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 Yes.
Thank you for the very inspiring teaching. I have a bit of a technical question around rebirth. Do you have any explanation on when the passing of the mind to a new body happens? If it's during the process of conception, of embryo, of birth, and depending on that, does what happens during the pregnancy influence which mind is going to take place in the new body?
During the pregnancy?
Yeah, like if some things happen, like strong karmic action happen during the pregnancy, does that influence which mind take place in the body or?
Let me go. You go Laura.
say Lama they say Chimaki Namshidiki so the Kaduke Sene or sperm dying and the tuning Pamagi tuning and they get a bit and they do Shepardigi, Nibadigi, the Fetchidi go for conception of Chonsabi, any day Chisudiki, Semjingi, Lay Shutapo, Shiki Bon Chini, any the Sudiki, Doshi did a rally, she did is true, and the Tombe.
That on the Getchy di Namshiti. Namshiti go she won't do some bit. Tanda Nashi Ningsam Jerry Kitty Shigorba. Namshi Ningsam Jerry, couple shedu some bit, Yama Jawarbuchi and Siribuzunam, Yamdo Kamuchunche, Kanje Hai any Tilitan, Magi Gongani, Gamabacheche, any Jawachum Batil dead ne, any which have never your vesina, think about your Bichel This is to be Manju Tanda Token on Rolla Jumdentiki and it can Subachi Subatrava Namshi Namshi the Tigan Tata Papu. Tan Namshi did Dichi any Kadis Shushu Gejamaris called Leg Java Shuchumushko Leg Java Leg Java Shuchimbo Kazu Yovena and Telebabe a Jig Pamatil Lendigi Java Tilatini Leomanchi. Dangerous.
So what we're talking about here is the sort of point of the taking up of the new birth, or the point of conception. The consciousness coming from the old person and into the new, and the sort of point of conception, or the point of which is conjoined with the new life. And if His Holiness in conversation with the scientists questioned the scientists at one point and asked them that if you have the sperm from the father and the egg from the mother, and if there are no sort of physical faults with both the sperm and the egg, then if those sperm and the egg come together, is it necessarily true that a new life will take place, a new sort of embryo will start to develop? And the scientists replied that it's not necessarily true that even though you have a sperm and an egg which have no sort of physical detriment, even if they come together, it doesn't mean that there will be a new embryo that develops. So then in the sutra, so this sort of situation, the sort of Buddha points to in the sutras, where they identify as they're identifying a third kind of factor, a third kind of cause, which in the Buddhist perspective would be that of consciousness, also having consciousness come to conjoin with the sperm and the egg at that point. And also in terms of the at that point of conception, which prior being would be the one that is born conceived in that particular set of parents, then that really is related to the kind of strong beings which would have a stronger karmic connection with those particular parents, and so that would be the relation of which person would be born to a particular set of parents at the time of conception.
Also, doesn't scientists say that during the pregnancy, the more the mother is calm and peaceful and generous and doing thank you. So that the baby will be born more healthier. They say that, right?
Yeah.
So if it is true, then in order to bring this kind of a preparation, that the couple has to be have some kind of practice, right? So it's more like who's coming, No, in the guest house. Okay, so you know there could be a naughty one, a very simple, humble one, intelligent one, very stupid ones. Whoever comes, I take a responsibility. It gives us the opportunity to bring my compassion, and I can bring not only a new life, but one meaningful life that I want to do. I think that set of mind, it is the one of the beautiful mindset to become parents. And then once the child is born, you're ready for this. It's like fasten your seatbelt. You don't know what's going to happen, but you have fastened your seatbelt. Then it's like, I don't care now. Something will. I'm quite safe from my side. So that's how you. I think we need to train ourselves like that. Okay, okay.
Is liberation attainable in one lifetime, or one has to go through multiple lifetimes?
So the question was, is liberation attainable in just in one lifetime, or do we have to pass through multiple lives in order to attain liberation?
I have a very stupid question for you. Your question was so good, but my question for you, Dharamkot here. So I live in Megoganj. Sometimes I come for pizza here. Even though I don't like pizza so much, but I do sometimes come with my friends. So from setting out from my home and making an appointment with my friends, like, let's enjoy the pizza. Thinking of having a pizza, and then each and every step, you feel super joy. And once you have pizza in front of you, there's nothing much feeling there. So similarly, so if you agree with this, it is not really important to get the liberation right now. It is very important. Your direction towards liberation is how much you feel about it. Do you feel so confident? Do you feel like this is so necessary? That's much. That's how I call earning. You have to earn it. So this is the most important. So please keep this in mind, because I always say to myself, can I get the liberation in this life or not? I'm so eager about that. But then, am I enjoying the each and every time practice? No. So that means like I'm not really enjoying the liberation. But once you see the liberation is not really far away, when do you say from here to Delhi, like 500 kilometers, let's say, it's far. But it's say like the strength of the mind, and then you have the money. That's what we call merit. And you have to go by car 9 hours, 10 hours, and you can afford aeroplane 1 hour. So liberation, is it far or not? That depends on your way of thinking, how much you're ready for it, and how much merit do you have. That's it. Okay.
I have big folders of bad memories. Not sure what to do with it, even though I understand that could be like changing perspective. I don't really know the way.
You bad.
I have a big folders of
Okay.
bad memories.
Big
Yeah.
photos, file, burn it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, okay, yeah. But the good thing about bad memories is something. Will you learn from other people's mistake? No. Will you certainly learn from your mistake? For sure. That's more powerful. So for that reason, it's very, very relative. If you could use your old memories, and especially you have bad memories of that and that, so now each and every time more you are aware of that, you have a better awareness to go in the right direction. So you can use that for a better purpose. It's every time you feel like, okay, now I can feel I'm going to that direction because you already experienced that. So then it's it helps you to become stronger. So we should use that for that purpose. Like when we take a Bodhisattva vow, then we always say, I have committed so many negative things in my past life. That's why I'm suffering. I have to suffer. That makes you actually stronger, not weaker. Like if it is on you, if you couldn't blame anybody, you feel like, that's my fault. There is a cause, there should be a result. There is a fire, there is a smoke because there is a fire. How simple is that? Accept that. But now, if you don't want to light the fire, then what are you going to do? So first you feel, in the past I have done this. I put the fire on and I don't like the smoke. So now I know which direction we are heading towards. I make sure from this day on, I'm not going to do that. That is one of the best purification. So learn from the mistake. That's it. You can do it. We all are doing that. So you are not alone. You are not the only one who has the, what is that folder? Bad folders?
Folder of
Huh?
Folder of bad memories. Folder of bad memories.
A folder of bad memories. You are not the only one. We are with you. Okay, I take one. The gentleman, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the talk. I wanted to ask if you can give us a metaphor or illustration or story to feel better what is emptiness.
Metaphor. What's
example.
example? Example. The simple. I give you the one of the best example of what Nagarjuna has given to his students. He said, we need to check whenever we are grasping towards something. Is it worth grasping? So when we ask the question, it is worth grasping, that means, do you grasp to this identity? Then it's a yes. But then, if you do a little research on that, where is this identity as you have labeled it, as you are labeled? Is it something like this? Then, Nagarjuna said it is similar like someone mistaken stripe as a snake.
Striped robe.
Striped robe as a snake. So once we get so frightened, you have the little bit of this bad influence which you have afraid towards snake. and then you see the stripe of the robe, striped robe, and then you feel like there's a snake. But then you just try to look into, you can, but that you need to switch on the light. You switch on the light, then you can see it clearly. There is no single truly
Truly existent.
existence of the snake as you labeled on that. That takes you your fear, anxiety, everything, because you come to realize the true nature. Similarly, whenever we have a grasping, we are grasping towards something that does not exist by its own. But every time when we are grasped on something, we need this. Make sure it's there. We need something that is truly existent by its own. What takes away our freedom of thinking, is every time we say it is dependent. My body is dependent on my 5 aggregates. We say that. But then when you are so angry at someone, towards me, but then you don't see this dependent I. You will only see this isolated, truly existence I. So now, what this emptiness teaching, emptiness is like a tool to fix something, and from fixing, what will we get is, we will clearly get understanding of it is not, all the phenomena is not truly existent by its own, rather it's dependent on something else. It's dependent on something else. So, very simple metaphor or example will be, somebody cannot stand on his feet, which he has to rely on someone. So then, if this is how we call, I'm dependent on someone, right? We say, I cannot stand on my feet anymore. I depend on something else to stand up. That's, we have quite an understanding of solely dependent on something. But sometimes you feel like I can stand up my own. I have my style to stand up. I can do it, not very nice way, but I can. That means like I can do it by my own bit. But if you are not in a situation to do that, but you are dependently on something, that person has a good understanding. I am solely dependent on something. But in the time when your mind becomes so narrow-minded, so isolated, so grasping towards something, at that time you feel that, for an example, enemy, you have seen something, the object of the enemy, to be straightforward, object of the enemy is your own projection. That's it. There is no so-called that kind of bad, that kind of something, what you have,
Yeah, that you've sort of imputed or imputed onto the sort of the base, the object there.
So this is
superimposed onto it. Yeah.
This is solely from your perspective, your point of view. But then you feel like that is my enemy. But I tell my friends, maybe it's a pure sign. Even that friend of yours, the enemy of yours is totally improved. He maybe become fully enlightened, so clean, no more negative emotions. But you will, because you have so much clinging towards your projection of him being your enemy, it will be so uncomfortable for you to believe that person is become enlightened. Isn't it that true? 100%. We say, I don't think so. So because our mind is so narrow-minded, something that couldn't happen. So the emptiness really teaches you that something can really happen. It's not like it's something very 세상을 딜다 두두실라는 지그로가 세상을 동반이 켈렌 투나 아니 딘중의 남샤 타르지바 켈렌 투야지마도 가주 동반이 남샤디 케말렌 딘중 케 가줄렌 랭가 제비나 딘중디 아니 뷰타고 지케는 말이스.
So if we are able to fully accept this, understanding this, the nature of emptiness, then we're really able to sort of understand and accept the sort of presentation of sort of dependent narration, the dependently related world. But if we're not able to understand or accept emptiness, then however much we say that we accept the sort of dependent, that things are related, dependently related, but actually that's really that understanding of the way our understanding of the dependent relation is actually not a complete form of understanding.
Because this subject is so profound, so Buddha has Buddha has opened 4 schools. There are 4 schools there. Because it is we cannot accept like there is no 세상 마스니디 텐딩니 두가 자원이 요마르스 라베이나 아니 말로 상으로 현토에 내주 차위다 아니 좀 된디기 아니 디 두다 시송지 두다 신기 나로라 아니 신이 강사하게 다음에세 그런바디 타르당치 타마 밥사들이야 밥해야지 가르선 아니 딘중기 남샤 동바 가주 셴바디기 딘중기 남샤디야고 거운데 셈벌허허허허도야지 디윤도 담배 아니 동바 슈데바디기 딘중 슈데바디 두다니야 두다시나야 랍나 그래서
So in this sort of presentation that was presented to us by the Buddha of the 4 different schools of philosophical tenets, then really what we're you're sort of looking at is this question of how the I exists, and for certain people, if we were to say to them that there's absolutely nothing from the side of the sort of for the self, from its own side or on the basis of itself, there's absolutely nothing from its own side at all, then many people would be completely shocked or surprised by this statement. And therefore we have this presentation of a sequence of, or a series of 4 philosophical tenet systems. And they're sort of, particularly within those philosophical tenet systems, there's the presentation of the selflessness of the person. And what we see at the very final limit, at the highest kind of philosophical level, where when we have if you have a presentation of the way in which things are dependently related to each other, this further informs our understanding of emptiness, and a practitioner at that level would actually feel, the more you talked about dependent origination and then also the understanding of emptiness, they would feel more and more relaxed in that, as you talk more and more about the deepening of the understanding of the emptiness of the person. And so you have these levels where they the sort of increasingly subtle levels of presentation of selflessness come through these deeper and deeper levels of understanding and presentation of the way that things are dependently related and the way that they're empty.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we do a dedication. What we have talked about, what you listened about, what we received this morning from His Holiness Dalai Lama, all his experience that he has given to us, taught us. So today is a very days of miracle for sure. And now, until this miracle didn't trigger inside our own personal life, then it is just like watching somebody doing good things. But now we need to experience that. So now the commitment is very important. So the commitment to become a good person, and good person does not have a kind of a limit until you are strong enough and you can be beneficial to others. So in a Buddhist terminology, we say to get out from all the suffering is the liberation, and to not only for yourself to be no more problem, but you really want to also help others tirelessly, like His Holiness Dalai Lama is doing. And if we could do like that, so that's called bodhicitta. So with whatever we have accumulated merit together, so may we use this merit for our future, this life, next life, and for only this purpose, to get the liberation, and then to benefit others as your own. And we also have to pray that in this world we need so many great beings who can bring us lots of inspirations, because the world is getting darker and darker. So now, in order to us to stay stronger and stronger, we always need a guidance. We need a good examples everywhere. So may there will be always a light in this world, and may we always have a guidance like His Holiness and the spiritual guidance. And also, there are so many unsung practitioners, not necessarily Buddhist. Even they don't have a religion, but they are deep inside so compassionate, so powerful, including all those. May they stay very healthy and strong, and may they always guide us. So we make this prayer. And I think Tushita, Tushita and I have a very special bond. Not because they invited me here to give teaching, because Tushita, I think they in a 90, I cannot remember the specific time, but this Lama Tubden, she's what is the brother, right? Geshe Tubden Sering. And some of the Westerners invited me. I was like, what, 12, 13 years old? And then they asked me to give a transmission and teaching. And maybe 50, 60 people there. And I'm so young, and it's my first time giving a teaching to audience. So my hands are shaking, so nervous. I cannot see the lines very clearly. So I started from Tushita to give some kind of teaching. So we have a very special bond. I have a special bond with Tushita. And now they requested me today to come and give me a talk. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I'm so proud to say even I didn't organize well my lecture because I'm super lazy. But whatever I just the mouth when I opened, these things are coming out. It is when if you think it's useful, it is coming directly from His Holiness and my teachers, who day and night researched, practiced. But if there's some mistakes and you'll feel confused, that's on me. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yeah, and another dedication is now we are looking forward to see the new recognition of Lama Zopa Rinpoche very soon. So we dedicate our merit for his recognition come soon, and may he can hold the teachings of his predecessor and continuously benefit all around the world. Okay, thank you, thank you.
So we'll recite the short mandala offering on page 243. 243. And then there's additional dedication prayers on one sheet. It says from Serkong Rinpoche's teachings. Having thoroughly investigated in accord with all that I have heard day and night through the four reasonings, mind born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, may this discernment sever all doubts. And the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma, cover completely the qualities of the grounds and paths. May I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality, and just like Samatavajra as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue with the dedication praise is best. by the all gone victorious ones of the 3 times, in order to have good conduct, with my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. And then the long life prayer for Rinpoche. Om Svasti, may all be auspicious. O charming lady of 7 eyes, supreme mother of the triumphant, exceptional deity, skilled in bright, great rain to fall, of the actual attainments of deathless long life, positive potential and deep awareness, please grant here and now the utmost in fulfilling the aims of my prayers. By the force of your matchless dedicated heart, to uphold the teachings, may you live a long life to further the essence of the deep and extensive guidelines of the Able One. As a Lord wielding power over the ocean of reason and speech, as a lamp for the teaching of the excellent minded, for the sake of leading to a state of peerless enduring bliss, all wandering beings oppressed through bondage to their compulsions and disturbing minds. May you live a long life fulfilling all infinite hopes through the extensive deeds of your stainless 3 energetic gates. May your dedicated heart once more reach out to strive in serving the triumphant one's teachings through your 3 pure rounds. I request you to long remain as a guiding light for wandering beings and according with your will and the lands of disciples in every direction. By the power of inspirations from the host of lamas, deities, and protectors, by the force of the truth of non-fallacious dependent arising, by the strength of regard from the exceptional resolve of myself and others, may all the aims of my prayers be exactly and fulfilled.
Chanju Simju Rinpoche, Make Banam Kyochi, Geba Yamba Meva Yang, Bone Bundu Pepper, Tuni Tawar Rinpoche, Make Banam Kyochi, Geba Yamba Meva Yang, Bone Bundu Pepper, Yijun Sambar Rinpoche, Make Banam Kyochi, Geba Yamba Meva Yang, Bone Bundu Pepper. Thank you.